Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Bonesteel here. We're going to talk a little bit about how the Nomads arrived in North America. So, this may not sound very exciting to you, but it is incredibly important to American history. During the last school year, back in the fall, a massive discovery was made that actually changed the timeline of when the first people migrated from Asia to North America via what is today Alaska. So there was a land bridge there made of mostly ice and rock that is obviously no longer there. It has since melted. Beringia, we refer to it as. But the timeline changed, so I'm going to show you a little bit more about that.
Migration towards the north of East Asia paved the way for human migration to the Americas. Humans are usually thought to have reached the Americas through this route by around 15,000 years ago, expanding downwards along the coast or through an ice-free corridor in the interior. But this is far from a closed case. As we've learned in class, there are more than a couple of theories. Though disputed, the Bering Land Bridge theory, the longest-lasting theory about migration to the Americas, is based on an understanding that 15,000 years ago, Alaska and Siberia were connected by a narrow strip of land known as the Bering Land Bridge. It is thought that groups of hunter-gatherers followed game across this land bridge, from Russia into North America. When the sea levels rose again, the land bridge was lost, along with any archaeological evidence of the crossing. After reaching North America, early humans made their way south, eventually reaching the South American continent. As the North American glaciers receded, groups of hunter-gatherers expanded further north into present-day Canada and the northern part of the United States. Once humans became more settled in these new regions, they began domesticating local plants and animals. These natural resources provided not only food, but also clothing and materials to build shelters. Dogs, goats, sheep, and chickens were among the first animals to be domesticated. Wheat, barley, and flowers were some of the first domesticated plants.
So, as you saw in the video, remember, our Earth is spherical. And even though our map looks like a single dimensional object, where the continents meet, so where Russia and the Asian continent meets North America at modern day Alaska, there was ice and rock that made a bridge, and the nomads crossed it, hunting their prey, hunting what we believe were mammoths, for example. And then eventually they moved further and further south through North America down into Central and South America. And as you'll learn, we'll discuss the Central and South American cultures of the Inca, the Maya, and the Aztec, which are Native Americans, Native peoples. And the ones that stayed in North America are the people that you learned as the Native American Indians. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about them. They briefly mentioned the domestication of livestock. So you are able to irrigate, you're able to water crops, you plant the seeds, you grow the plants, you use those to feed the animals, you put fences around them, you keep them. Some you use as pets and work animals, others you eat. And that's essentially how civilizations develop. And it has happened all over the world. You learned in sixth grade about the River Valley civilizations and the Fertile Crescent and these communities that grew up because of the convenience, essentially, not having to hunt and gather and continually be moving. They lose the nomadic necessity, okay? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Thank you.